Augusta receives federal funds to ensure safe and affordable housing. But after more than a year of investigating, I found some of the money just seems to go missing and generational homes are lost, like the brick house on Branch Street.
The year 1966. Gary Lewis and the Playboys headline at the Bell Auditorium. Jack Nicklaus becomes the first back-to-back champion at the Masters. Richard Petty makes his 49th win at Augusta Speedway. And Valeria Brooks graduates from T.W. Josie High School. It will be another 6 years before a judge issues a desegregation order for Richmond County schools.
Everybody knew everybody. We knew the people that lived here. We played with the kids that lived here, that rented this house from our family.
A street over from the high school.
Historical Martin Luther King over here, 15th Street, which is being redeveloped.
Sits the home Roderick Brown's grandfather built in the 50s.
This is a pecan tree. And we used to love coming out here as kids, picking up the pecans that would fall on the ground. So yeah, this is a big pecan tree.
Henry Brooks was the first African-American licensed contractor in Augusta and became a building inspector for Richmond County. Brown's grandmother and uncle worked as crossing guards at T.W. Josie. Brown's mother followed the same path as her parents in public service after graduation. First as a social worker, later as a substitute teacher. Mama Val from the brick house on Branch Street would become the cornerstone of this community.
My mom, having moved back and lived in that house to help take care of her sister.
But the decades,
the house was just in disrepair.
Had taken a toll on the 70-year-old house.
It was just that, when you get to the point where, you have rodents and things trying to get into the house, they just didn't have the resources to, do any.
She was on a fixed income.
Very fixed income, and to do any upkeep on the house.
Housing and Community Development has resources. Augusta Richmond County is an entitlement city, meaning our local government receives millions of dollars from housing and urban development every year to help families like the Browns.
And so there was a couple of, grant programs that we were made aware of where they would come in and do, emergency rehabilitation type work.
Roderick Brown began inquiring about the grants in the spring of 2021. A few months later, he receives a letter from Housing and Community Development.
Family got excited because at least we were, going to be able to stay in the community, which all of us are very familiar with.
Behind the scenes, warning bells are going off. The director of Housing and Community Development emails his staff this: I am deeply disturbed as to the rehab sector's programmatic processes and guidelines. The Browns receive a second letter in September of 2021.
Thank you for applying to the Housing and Community Development Rehabilitation Program. Unfortunately, we regret to inform you that due to the extensive work required for the property, we are denying the property for the rehabilitation program. However, the property has been chosen for a demo reconstruction project for the year of 2022. And this is what we received from the Housing and Community Development.
Fast forward to 2023.
We were told that she would be in her house at her 75th birthday to celebrate being in her new home.
Commissioners approved funding for the project and award the contract to build the new home.
And my family was relocated.
And that's where we're at right now.
That's where we're at right now.
So we're at a property on Laney Walker Boulevard.
Yes.
Valeria Brown couldn't celebrate her 75th birthday in her new house. Torn from her family home and her community, Mama Val died in a rental on the other side of town.
I'm going to try not to get emotional, but the day before my mom passed away, one of two comments that she made to me was, "Why did the city do this to me?"
The I-Team uncovered the Laney Walker rental property is owned by Housing and Community Development. It's one of 58 rental properties owned by HCD, held in the land bank. HCD filed to evict Brown's disabled aunt and special needs cousin from the Laney Walker rental last summer.
The city took possession of the house when they relocated us and still have possession of the house.
From the same rental HCD moved them into for a project they never started.
How does Branch Street look now?
Completely, it's uninhabitable, it's unrecognizable. Shrubs, trees have grown up to where you can barely see the house from the street, and it's not habitable at all.
So 2 years later, nothing's been done.
Nothing's been done. The house has not been demolished. It has not even been cleared to even start the work. Nothing has been done.
Despite HCD spending more than $11,000 entitlement dollars on an architect and $270,000 entitlement dollars on a builder.
The commission approved the funding in May of 2023. The contract with the contractor was signed with a specific amount of money for that contract in May of 2023. What happened to the money?
So where did the money go? And why are rentals being held in the land bank? And what led to HCD temporarily suspending the rehab program? The Director of Housing and Community Development has an office in this building. He did not answer our questions, but he did respond to an open records request. Turns out the funding source for the majority of the rentals in the land bank came from entitlement dollars, more than $3.4 million out of the same pot of money that was supposed to go to the brick house on Branch Street.
And I'm even concerned because it's my understanding, just do some, limited research that a lot of these properties are being also bought up by the land bank. So
I saw one or two.
yeah, so so I'm just hoping that there's no other alternative options that they're considering with this area. But I hope that they preserve this area, considering the history, that's here.
Because when local history is allowed to vanish, legacies die, and cornerstone communities crumble.
Roderick hired an attorney to fight the eviction, and on the 1st of this year, his aunt and cousin signed a lease agreement with HCD to stay in the rental. So they are housed, but they are not back home in the brick house on Branch Street.